that. Get the AI companion going. Sweet. So, welcome to our Monday session. Mary, is this your first time on?
This is
It is. Are you in the Monday Marketing Mastermind? Let's see here. I'm going to make sure.
chat. Yes, I am.
Okay, got it. So today, we can start off with something that you're like excited about. We want to kind of go around the room and talk about um, what kinds of things you guys are doing to uh, be creative. And I'm going to start off with just a little perspective for some of us coaches that have been around 5 or more years. We back in the day used social media as very supplemental. It wasn't our primary focus. And and then as you know, when COVID hit, of course, everybody was like 10xing their social media because they weren't, they weren't working and they weren't doing other things. And so online workout groups and online Zoom groups and lots of stuff moved online. And that was really great. We brought in a fair amount of coaches during that time. And it was easy to find clients and to develop a coaching practice. But those people that came in and developed a coaching practice during that time didn't really learn how to coach well. And that's one thing that I've noticed is a lot of those coaches that came in during that time, very few of them stick. A high percentage of them, it was a fad thing for them. And I think also we taught people how to enroll people into the Optavia program, hoping that the magic would take care of itself, and that your food, we were food distributioners with a smile. And nowadays there's of course the environment is changed. We're working again. People are not on social media like they were all day. And the other thing is that the folks that didn't really have any skill sets to actually coach people get frustrated, and the clients that they do have aren't hanging around as long, and they don't know how to develop new clients because they never really built that skill. So some of them are here and you're learning to build that, which is fantastic. And some of them went and did something else, which is fantastic too, right? And so from that standpoint, that's what we're doing here, is learning how to actually market our business, both in person and on social media. And the other thing that I'm working on is I've been doing this for longer than all of you, 14 years. And when the new term, um, a lot of the new terms that people are using is coach the crap out of your clients. And I think that's a fantastic idea. However, if you don't know what that means, are you just going to are you going to call them 5 times a day instead of 1 time a day? Are you going to send them 40,000 texts instead of 20,000 texts? I mean, like, what does it mean to actually coach the crap out of our people? And so these are those things that I'm working on developing, how to do good coaching. And tonight on the coach meeting, we're going to be talking about some of the things that we've talked about here, how to navigate a plateau, some of the mechanics of how to get the 5-and-1 to perform again. What are those details? And so I have a presentation tonight and it's going to be very interactive. So you guys helped me because I think when we think about coaching the crap out of our clients, we have to know that some of the mechanics and some of the technical things. Because if everybody follows the Optavia guide and they eat 5 fuelings and they have one weighed out and precise lean and green and they drink their water, okay, they're going to have success. But what if they don't? Right? What is and so I've been doing a lot of work for years on the mindset. When you see me, I've sort of got a reputation when I do talks on the mindset stuff. How do we figure out how to move people, how to incline their will, how to, do all those things. But there's also, I realized this morning, the mindset is definitely important, but the mechanics are also important. And then a combination, how to use structural tension, how to use accountability, how to ask questions, and then how to know what you're looking for so you can diagnose what is a self-made plateau. I haven't seen plateaus that aren't self-made. So anyway, that's a lot of what we're going to be talking tonight, but this is where my mind is going. And I think it's where it needs to go is to not only to teach us about the intrinsic motivation and all of those kind of things, but to know your stuff when it comes to the science behind the fuelings and to know when somebody is doing it perfectly and yet the scale is not moving. That I want to be really clear with you. The 5-in-1 didn't break. If the scale's not moving, it's because they're not doing the 5-in-1. No matter how much they will plead and tell you they are, the facts are they're not. Right? And so now, and of course, you can tell them, no, you're just not doing the 5-in-1. Yes, I am. No, you are. Yes, I am. I'm rubber, you're glue. What you say bounces off me and sticks to you. I mean, you can do that round and have it insanity coaching. Sanity coaching is a term where you're doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. So let's stop insanity coaching and let's start diagnosing and let's start partnering with our clients to be on the investigative side. And I'll finish with this concept, and then I'd like to have a little discussion with you. There's an idea where you have, let's say the problem. Let's say this it represents the problem, okay? And what you have is you have you and your client, and you're working together, and you're looking at the problem, and you're like, the problem is the weight. The problem is my habits. The problem is my lack of skill sets in being healthy. And when you ask certain questions, you can stay on the same side and both of you be attacking the problem. But sometimes we get into a spot, and it happens real quickly, where all of a sudden they jump to the other side of the problem, and now they're playing tug of war over the problem. They're like, no, I'm doing it perfectly. And you're like, well, no, you're not. And so now you're playing tug of war over the success. And so you want to, you want to move over to the same side of the problem. And there's a couple of simple questions you can ask them. And the first one is, you might want to take some notes on this. I recommend always having a notepad out when we have our meetings, because we'll learn from each other too. First question is, remember back when we started this whole journey? So you got to start with the outcome they wanted. What is the whole point of all of this? I wanted to lose 50 pounds. Why? Because lots of reasons, personal to them, right? And then the second question, so why did you start? Do you still want that? Those are the first two things that that helps you those two questions get you to move to the same side and lock arms with them. And now you're not playing tug of war over the tug of war. You're both pulling together in unison. Do you want that? What did you want? Do you still want that? Yes, I want it. Great. So then you go into diagnostic mode. So would you agree that we've got to figure out what's keeping you from getting that? And they're going to say, uh-huh. Now you're on the same side of the problem. The problem is they want to lose weight and they're not losing weight, but you've renegotiated to now you're their ally and not their adversary.
Mhm.
And so then you go through a series of questions. Okay, so the 5-in-1 is designed really well, and it works. It works when we get the details right. And so you're not losing weight, and that's frustrating, right? Yeah. Boom. We're establishing same side of the problem again. Okay, so we have to figure out what's missing. So we're going to do a series of diagnostics. This may take us a couple of weeks to figure this out, but when we do, you'll see it'll be like magic. The scale will start to drop again and it'll all start to work. Do you want that? Yes. Again, I'm reestablishing same side partnership, locking arms with them. And then you're like, okay, so we got to look at, then you just kind of go through a day. But see, do you see all of that time? That just took me 4 minutes to get on the same side. And if you're not on the same side, now you're butting heads. So you got to establish, what do they want? Why do they want it? Do they still want that? And then we start to diagnose. And then I said, this might take a couple weeks, and we're going to make a couple small changes at a time. And when we do those things, then we have to test it for 2 or 3 days. It doesn't happen in 5 minutes. We got to have a couple, 2 or 3 days testing the new protocol. And then we have to see, did the scale move? It's really easy to tell when you're getting it right. The scale's going to move. You're going to have better energy. I mean, it'll be really easy when we hit the thresholds. And I'm going to go into more details tonight, so I won't go into all that today, but right now, but I want to go around what questions or what ahas. I know that Maureen, you've been saying a lot during my talk. So I'm so curious as to
Sorry, I thought I was on mute.
No, it's good feedback for me. I know you got stuff going on up there that's hitting the home run. So tell me.
No, this has really hit home a lot. And partly, I think it was either last week or the week before when you said that, because I've had a number of, one in particular client who for the last several weeks, she has not moved at all on the scale. And she's had so much stress at work. And when we talked about, okay, she said she's weighing her lean and green, measuring, and everything to a T every 2 to 3 hours, having something to eat. And I'm just like racking my brain. Okay. And how much water? She's like 64 to 100 ounces of water. She's doing everything like check, check, check. And I'm like, oh, I just was like puzzled. What in the world's happening? And then when you shared, oh my gosh, it was just the light bulb went on. Just have her do the protein and no greens because of the carbs. And, when we're over 100, it kicks us out. And that was so clever. I had never heard that in my entire coaching career, that we could do that. Hold off on the green. And she was so delighted when I talked to her that, oh my gosh, I could do that. And I said, my coach said yes. And because we're figuring it out. And I liked what you said, small steps. There.
We're diagnosing it. It's not permanently taken out, but we're going to tell if your lean and greens are not your lean and greens are the problem. I wouldn't say it like that. I would say, we're going to find out if your lean and greens are what's keeping you from success.
Exactly. And she loved that. And so she was so motivated. And we were talking, I think it's Wednesday of this week, but she was just super excited that there's a plan in place that can help move her forward and not stay where she's been hovering probably maybe for the last couple months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while.
Couple months. Well,
Yeah,
and the
she
other
was,
thing too is, so one last caveat is I wouldn't wait a full week, because if it didn't fix it, then you
yeah.
had 7 days. She'll notice a difference in 3 days.
I'll send her a message
Yeah. So
and
text
see.
her, say, text me
Yeah.
in 3 days, set yourself a reminder. So you
Okay.
text them in 3 days and say,
I'll do
what's the
that.
scale? Is it moving?
Right.
How you doing
Yeah.
today?
And I like those questions that you just brought up. And so I wrote those down as well because it is reestablishing the partnership and we're in it together.
Mhm.
And I want, we want all of our clients to feel that way. And we're their guide. I always have to remember, yes, we're their coach, but we're their guide. We're helping them on this journey.
Mhm.
And it's such an honor and a privilege and pleasure to be with them on this journey. And it motivates me with my health as well. We're motivating them, but in turn, we're getting so much more from
Yep.
it.
Well,
So
and also, Maureen, I hope, did your confidence in coaching stay the same, get more, or get less?
totally increased.
Total.
I can't,
Yeah.
yeah, it totally increased. And it's because we have such an amazing plan and program, and it's flexible with each individual. We're not, we work with one client at a time. And this was just another tool, like we talk about, to add to our toolbox
Right.
that, oh my gosh, to me, anyway, I can speak for myself. It's a game changer,
Well,
100%.
yeah, and I think that for coaches, I know for me, if once I get into insanity coaching, that's probably a new term we're gonna coin today. Insanity coaching frustrates. And when somebody, so here's what insanity coaching looks like. Well, just really work the 5 and 1, and okay, well, we'll see how it goes this next week, and that goes on for months. And the margin of error of the carbohydrate threshold is very precise. And if you're not there, it ain't working. And it's when it is there, it is working and it's profound. So our program could be amazing. And yet, they're doing a modified version of the program, which is absolute failure. And it's a 10 carb window between failure to lose weight and success in losing weight. 10 carbs. That is 10 croutons. I have all the math. That's 3 lifesavers. We go to our church and they give us a breath mint lifesaver when you walk in. So you get one going in, you get one walking out. That's 8 carbs, folks, right there. 8 carbs. And you didn't even have food. That was the breath mint. And now you add 5 croutons, smoking, failure, ain't happening. It's not even real food yet. You're not eating ice cream. So I want you guys to be able to realize that you have the program that you have access to is powerful. But it powerfully fails when you think you're doing it, but you're not doing it. And so that's why this coaching piece comes in, because the 5 and 1, the Optavia guide doesn't ask those kinds of questions that I just taught you to ask. That's why the 5 and 1 is just tools, but without guidance to guide them through, frustration happens, recidivism happens, quitting and starting and quitting and starting, and all this life hours wasted. Because you could chase a goal of weight for 5 years and be almost there and just be struggling. All right, who else? Who else has got something they want to that sparked in them?
I don't know what you add to that because I mean, Maureen hit the nail on the head as to what's coming out of this. I made some of the same notes, and because I've had clients that they plateau and I go into insanity coaching or have um, and it's frustrating for them, and it's frustrating for me, and then you lose them. if you don't, if all of a sudden they're plateauing for 4 weeks, and I've had people do that. Say, I'm not, I'm not making any progress, and I'm paying all this money, and you lose them. And
Well, one of the things we'll say, and I've said this, well, at least you're getting some good nutrition. And they're like,
well, yeah, that's
give you the middle finger and say, well, it's not good enough.
yeah.
I mean,
I said, well, but you're feeling good, right? Well,
Yeah.
yeah. But I could feel good, and not paying $500 or whatever.
right, exactly.
You know, so it's I mean, this is valuable.
Well, I talked to the globals and I was like, I want to train on this. The marketing team is going crazy. There's so much value here. So tonight we're going to go. It's not going to be organic like it was here. It's going to be thought through, and we're going to do a little Q&A. So excellent. Yeah, insanity coaching. There's so much of that going on because the program works. After all, just work it. Barb, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I find it to be this tug of war in my own mind when someone is saying something like, I only lost 1 pound this week or whatever, because what happens to me is then I want to say, but you've already lost how many pounds so far? And I go into this positive thing. And sometimes I miss the maybe we need to
teachable
diagnose or
moment.
whatever. But it's because so I'm constantly struggling between teaching and telling and being positive, and yeah.
Yep. Well, and in that situation, Barb, so let's just do a quick little role play. So you're the lady
Yes.
that only lost 1 pound. So hey, Barb, how was your week? Tell me, did the scale move for you?
Well, I only lost 1 pound.
Okay. Was that a surprise or a prediction based upon your last few days?
Well, it was a huge surprise because I've been doing everything exactly the way I'm supposed to.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is the average for women is 1 to 3 pounds. Now you're on the lower end of that. I think we can get it up to the 3. Sometimes our bodies, for whatever reason, if it's that time of the month, for women, you'll have less weight loss. And so the last few weeks, if you've been averaging 3 and this week was 1, this is just that once a month thing, right? So that's real, by the way.
Yeah. Never even occurred to me to say that.
Yep.
It's true.
Right?
I get it.
You guys all know it's true. I know it's true just because most of my clients are female and they have
never
those
thought
things,
about it.
right?
Right.
But then I say, so next week, your body's going to get rid of that extra whatever stuff that it's doing, and you should be back to your normal, your average. However, if it's not the time of the month, then I would say, okay, so it was a surprise because in your mind, you said, I'm nailing everything.
Right.
And yet you only lost 1 pound. So now you want to diagnose this. I would say, so Barb, you want to diagnose this with me? Let's get real specific, and let's figure out if there was anything that could have got in your way from having your success. Does that sound good?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So did you do anything this weekend that was out of the ordinary, out of the unusual? Did you go out to eat? Was there any parties you attended? Did you work in the yard longer than normal? Was there anything that was abnormal or different?
Well, yeah, I did work outside a lot, actually.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's a variable that we have to take into account. Now, this has only been 1 week where you lost 1 pound. And so sometimes what people will do is they say, well, I was working out in the yard all day, so I had a little bit of extra this, or I had a little bit of something else, right? Because after all, I was working in the yard all day. And one thing is your body will just burn extra fat. When your body needs extra and you're in fat burn, it takes the extra from your butt, right? your butt or your gut, right? It just burns more fat. However, if you add more input, more food, then it uses the food and not your stored body fat. So even though you were working out in the yard all day, you didn't burn any significant more amount of calories, and definitely not more than what your body fat could compensate for. So moving forward, when you're out in the yard, just fuel on time, make sure you're getting your water in, and your body is gonna compensate. It's gonna do whatever it is. Now, if you were on a hike for 5 hours, then I would go down the amino acid route. Do you have the aminos? If you do, but you didn't take them, because I wasn't really working out, I was just walking. Or sometimes people are working in the yard and that they're hauling railroad ties. I mean, working in the yard pulling weeds is different than digging a swimming pool hole, right? Those are different things. So I would, and I wouldn't add extra food though. The thing, if I did add anything extra, I would add aminos. So now if they don't have them, you need to get them. And if they do have them, they need to drink them. But ultimately, then you go another week and you see, are they back to the 2 to 3 pounds? And if so, everything's great. If it's not, well, then it's more diagnostic. Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes, and again, 1 week is not too much data. If they've been staying at 1 pound or 0 to 1 pound for 3 to 4 weeks, it's
There's a
not
problem.
likely working in the yard.
Right.
There's something else. And so the other thing that can cause you to not lose weight over a weekend is you went out to eat and you ordered a steak at Texas Roadhouse, and they put their special seasoning on it, which has salt in it. Salt causes your body to store water, to retain water. And that can very easily be a pound or 2.
Hey, on my road trip, I discovered, because we went to Texas Roadhouse, at midnight or whatever, really late. They have a child's portion sirloin, which is 5 ounces. Just saying.
Look at that.
Just had to say that because you
Yep.
mentioned Texas
Yep.
Roadhouse.
And another tip, when you are eating out, salads are more of a variable than steamed vegetables. Now you get the steamed vegetables steamed in water, not buttered water, right? Because they'll do that, especially if you go to Outback Steakhouse. All their vegetables are wonderful, but they put a little pat of butter in the water and they steam them with buttered water. So anyway, steamed vegetables are going to be safer than a salad, because a salad can easily be more, and
More
then
stuff
they have
in it.
little carrot shavings in there, and you're going to eat those, or you're not going to pick them out, or it's just an instant little crouton. I'm going to eat a few of those, that kind of
The
stuff.
thing you have to do at Outback is my wife and I, when we go to Outback, we split everything. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll order a steak, but we split it. We split the salad,
Yeah.
and then I usually get my broccoli.
Yep. Yep. Well, and if so these are only diagnostics if the outcomes you're getting are not what you want. If you've gotten to a healthy weight and you're maintaining it, Bruce, you're killing it. It's great.
Yeah,
If you're
I know, but right now I'm working on releasing some excess poundage that I put on over the last year. So
okay, got it. Yep. And then one thing to be sure of, when you go back to the 5 and 1, you have to go back to the beginning of the 5 and 1 with the precision at the beginning, not the laziness of when you stopped the 5 and 1. And that's personal testimony there. So, all right, who else has got some ahas from our conversation, or have you put these into practice with any of your clients? Melissa looks like she's got some hot, juicy information.
I have put this in practice with a client that was just getting kind of frustrated and told her about doing the 5-in-1 with just the protein. And then also just talked to her about doing either 7 or 8 fuelings a day. And she was like, oh, we haven't talked about that. And she's killing it. She's lost like 70 pounds, which is incredible. But she still has a ways to go. But it was really encouraging for her to hear that. And she's one of those that like she'll text me daily, like, guess what? So she's already doing really well with she's either doing the 5-in-1 just protein or the 8 fuelings a day, which has been phenomenal for her and just boosting her confidence too in the program.
Yes, great. One caution is if the 5-in-1 is working and they're losing between 2 and 5 pounds a week, that's not plateauing. That is normal success. And so when we wait to bring these protocols in when they're at a plateau, because otherwise they will hotwire the system wanting the weight to get off quicker. And it's not like it's going to be harmful for their body, but the psychology of it, they'll just want the quick fix, or they'll want to, they'll want to take advantage of something that's not warranted.
And sometimes it's because they're not enjoying it as much as we hope they are, and they can't wait to get back to eating regular, so they want to lose it fast and do their yo-yo thing.
Yep. Yeah. And if you can't, and that's a great question. If you can't wait to get back to eating like you used to eat, all of whatever that means, and I would walk it through. So what do you think's going to happen when you go back to eating like you ate when you were overweight? What do you think's going to happen? And make them, I'm going to gain all my weight back. Okay, exactly. Do you want that? But make them say it. What do you think is going to happen as soon as you get back? Well, I'm not going to do everything I used to do. Okay, so let's work together, and in transition phase 2 and in maintenance phase 3, and let's work for a few months while you're navigating it. Because likely, the weight will come back, and you're going to be fine tuning and adjusting this, learning a new rhythm. Or what's the most popular option is you're going to go back to gaining all of your weight back with a little bit of extra. And then you'll be calling me again saying, let's do this again. And I will answer that call and I will help you. However, we can save that year of school of hard knocks, and we can just move into it. Go from a 5-in-1, not back to a plan, but from a 5-in-1 to a new plan that's called staying at a healthy weight and living there. That is the program very few people that are trying to lose weight ever transition to. They transition back to what they used to do, and then they come back to the 5-in-1 to lose it. And then they transition to an old plan that was failure, but fun. And then they come back to the losing weight. There's a fun saying, people love getting fat, but they hate being fat. People hate getting healthy, but they love feeling healthy. Right? And so it's that, what if you could find out how to love getting healthy and love staying healthy? And that's really kind of what we're trying to help people with. Anybody else? We have time for one more.
I want just clarification. I want to back up for a second. When Melissa mentioned, the 8 fuelings, and we talked about that last week. If somebody's plateaued or you want to get them jump started, how long would you recommend someone do that?
Yes. So the 8 and O is a diagnostic tool to tell me that their lean and green is not compliant.
Okay.
And so if they start losing weight on the 8-0, then that tells me that their lean and green they're not measuring. They're supersizing their lean and green. They're adding blue cheese dressing and whatever else. They're adding some of these low calorie dressings. They're low fat, but not low carb.
So
And
do they do
don't-
it for a week?
I would do it, yeah, at the maximum. You'll see results in like 4 days, 3 days.
So suggest that they weigh sooner rather than only once a week.
Right. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Okay.
During our diagnostic, I want you to weigh yourself and from 3 days from now and text me, because if
Okay.
that scale moves again, what's it? And I would do this. So if that scale moves again, what does that tell you, Barb? Make them answer.
That I must be eating too many something,
Something.
too many
Right.
carbohydrates.
Yep.
I guess.
And that's in your,
Well,
that's going to be something to do with your lean and green, because when you omitted the lean and green altogether,
Right.
your weight moved. And when you had the
Mhm.
lean and green in, your weight was stagnant. So it
Right.
tells me something's going on. So then I would probably go the next 3 or 4 days, do 5 fuelings and just your protein. Protein's really easy to measure too.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm still losing. Okay. Well, now you've just figured out their portion on their carbohydrate is the problem. And they're not measuring.
The easiest thing to get out of whack is a salad.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. It just,
I mean, how often
Yeah.
do we have shredded cheddar cheese on our salad and we disregard it as being harmless?
Yeah.
Cheddar cheese has more carbs than it does protein. Mozzarella is the only acceptable cheese, like that style of cheese. And so how often,
Yeah.
I mean, I know Outback and I know Texas Roadhouse, they got that yellow yummy cheese on there.
Yep, they do.
And that by itself may not be enough to get over the carb threshold, but that with a breath mint and a piece of gum, oh yeah, or a few extra tomatoes or too much green. I mean, I'm telling you, it's not a matter of you being a nice person or not. It's our body has a threshold, and when we're below it, magic. When we're above it, no magic. It's not personal. It's not emotional. It's technical. Awesome. All right. So I wanted to tell you the success story. So I had the guy that is a wheelchair racer. His name's Kevin. And I think I talked about him last week. I called him. We said, I wanted to catch up with him, hear what's going on in his life. Great. Then at the end of that conversation, I said, I would like to explore working together to collaborate. I help people with their health, and he has to gain 5 pounds. He's actually at a healthy weight. And I said, I wonder what it would look like if you and I were to explore collaborating and doing some team coaching together. And he said, I'd be interested in hearing more about that. Well, so then we had our meeting on Thursday or Friday. First meeting was going pretty well. And then I said, I ran out of time. So I called him back after another assessment, and then he signed up. He bought the 5-in-1 kit with the aminos and all that. He travels a lot because he's a public speaker, and he wanted stuff so he could stay healthy on the road. Because when he gets home, he nails it pretty good, but when he's on the road, he doesn't. And so new client came out of that, and that was 3 conversations, right? Building rapport, connecting, talking about whatever. And then it moved into, now he's a new client. So, anyway, so that was kind of one of my successes, and wanted to share that with you guys. So let's talk about successes. We'll go around successes and then accountability. And so keep it. Yeah. Elizabeth, you're up.
I was just going to say I'm on break, so can I go first?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Well, perfect.
Awesome. Thanks. So I missed you guys last week. Sorry about that. So success this week, Kim and I had a an HHH meeting, or the Health Open and Humor. We ended up with 10 people that came. I invited my 20, like I said in my goal, and I ended up with five, six clients that are two were clients, three were not. And I've got two that want me to give them more information. So, and I've been working with following up with them. So that was a really great success. And I had another client sign up for the habit finder. So
Yep.
it never
So
been going in the right direction.
congratulations, Elizabeth. Way to take action. People's lives are going to be different because of this, of the energy you're putting towards that. I just want to let you know, this is how life transformation happens. And so when they said, I want more information, awesome. I need some more information from you too, Elizabeth. So how about we schedule to go through what's going on with you? We'll get more details about what you hope to accomplish. That's called a health assessment, but I don't use that terminology. I just use, let's get together. Let's find a time. We'll find out what's going on with you. And then I can, answer any of your questions. So the next transition is assessing their needs and showing them how things work. That's the more information. And then you get, then
So do you send them the
next.
jot form at that point?
Uh-huh. Yep. Well, I would phrase it like, let's get together and talk about what's going on. And they go, okay, that sounds great. And so I'm going to get some preliminary information. I've actually got a little questionnaire that will give me some background. So I'll be prepared for the time when we talk. Then send the jot form and then just do everything normally. But it's kind of choreographing it so that, I mean, did that feel normal when I just said that to you?
Yeah, and that's similar to what I say. I don't like
Perfect.
the word health assessment, or the phrase. So I try to phrase it a little differently.
Yeah, what we go on, and I'm going to send you a form so I can get some background information.
Right. And I just say, then it saves us time when we're talking, and we don't have to go over all the questions. So.
Yep. Well, I don't say that because I am going to go over their answers for all the questions. It
Okay.
will, I'm going to go, oh, so it says you want to lose weight. Tell me more about that. Oh, so it says you want to sleep. Tell me more about that. Oh, it says you want this. Tell me more about that. That's what I do with that. But
Right.
anyway,
But
fantastic.
okay. Yeah. On the back is all the, other ones that you can just go over if there's issues. That's what I like, is you can focus on what they need to talk about, and the things that are normal you don't really have to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah. And then what do you want to do for this coming week?
Well, so this coming week, my house is under construction, so I'm really struggling trying to figure out. We met at Kim's, and unfortunately, all of her people couldn't come, so it was all my people, which was awesome. But having her there as my team was awesome, because then it was more of a person who they didn't know, so that was great.
Yep. Well, so you're going to be kicked out of your house, so you've got to go somewhere. There's lots of things that you can go to meet people, but
okay, and that's what I was hoping to get, is like an idea of a location that I could have another one.
Oh,
just coming
a
up
location
short.
to have another Health, Hope, and Humor. Now, is that going to be for this Wednesday? So 2 days from now?
No.
Okay. Well, I would say for this week, I would focus on getting into the community and going and mixing and meeting people. And,
okay.
So then you can look up what events are going to happen this weekend. There's something in Atlanta that's going to be fairly big deal.
I know. And when they opened
you don't have to explain. I'm just teasing you.
I know. I just can't get the time off because I didn't know I had enough. So,
yeah. So, but find an event to go to and go collect some smiles.
Okay.
Yeah. And that'd be great. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So I'm taking back my original goal because I recognize that I am never going to accomplish it because I'm avoiding it.
Oh.
So, yeah. And I know myself really well. So rather than fail every week, I'm setting that aside and I'm doing something different.
What was your goal?
Well, I got I was
just
calling 10
people.
10
okay.
people.
So you're not calling 10 people.
because I was behind by 10 or by 7 or something. So I really had 17 to call.
And do you remember when I told you they don't accumulate? You get a fresh new 10 every
Oh,
week.
no, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. Well, because
So
otherwise what happens
is I
is
avoid it.
exactly what's happening. And then you run
Okay.
from it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
if
right.
you did 7 every week, we'll set it for 7 and then surprise yourself with 10. But my coaching for you, Barb, would be changing how you're thinking about talking to people. If you're trying to
Right.
call them to manipulate them into being healthy, you'll probably
No.
avoid that because it's awkward.
Yeah.
If you're calling them to find out what's going on in their life, like literally,
Right.
what's new? How are you doing? That it still is a little bit of resistance. I know I feel it, but it seems there's no pressure. I'm just
Right.
calling and I'm trying to be a good listener and I'm trying to really find out what's going on with them. And
Yep.
it's going to go wherever it's going to go. But if I don't make the call, nothing happens.
Yeah, I know. I totally get it. And so, yeah. So, okay. So maybe I'll keep my
Well, set it
goal,
to
make it
5 this
7.
week. How
Yeah.
about you
Okay.
set it
So,
to 5
well,
and you can overachieve
okay.
or just
Right.
whatever's going to happen, you're going to learn, but don't start stacking.
Yeah. See, that's what I was doing is I'm like, well, now I'm 17 behind and blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
And your brain wants to run.
Right.
Yep.
Correct.
It's normal.
Okay. So I'm doing 5.
5 this week. Fantastic. Yep. Who wants to go? How about you, Amber? Or actually, Maureen, do you have to leave at any special time? No, Amber's up.
I was just sitting here being so quiet listening today, Craig. So I wasn't with you guys last Friday. I had company all week, was running my legs off. But what I had done the week before when we talked was about a 7-day marketing campaign on the Facebook. And I did do that. Results, nothing too much happened or anything like that with it. But the fact is that I did it. Increased a little skill set there.
Well, and when you do a marketing campaign, now you know how to do a 7-day telling a story. People need to see that at least 9 times.
Yeah.
So run your same marketing campaign week after week for 9 weeks. Then you can be the judge of whether it was successful or not. Nike doesn't run one ad and look at their numbers to see if they sold more shoes. Is that helpful?
Can we define marketing?
She used
whatever.
ChatGPT to create a 7-day marketing ad, and I think she put that stuff in the. Tell us more
Okay.
about it, just briefly.
What does that mean to you, marketing ad?
Well, I just did ask ChatGPT some questions about I think it was weight loss. I've been so busy this last week with grandkids. I don't know if I'm coming or going. I'm in recovery state today. That's what I am in, is recovery. But basically it was telling a story throughout the week using different posts on Facebook, geared to get people thinking about weight loss and pros and cons and different
Fears.
graphics.
Yep.
Okay.
Huh?
Their fears and their
Fears.
frustrations and all that. Yep. Yeah. And so
Okay.
it created it. So I would run that same campaign, work it again. Run the same one again,
Mhm.
same exact pictures, same exact ads. I know I see a lot of the same ads on Facebook. One ad,
Yeah.
same
Over and
message
over.
multiple times.
Right.
I think we try to be
Only
too
thing-
creative and we change everything up and then we have no stickiness.
Yeah. The only thing I would change is to add a live. I didn't do a live one, but
Yeah.
so I would do that.
That's good. Okay.
One thing that I picked up on Saturday that I would like to do was the podcast. I love that idea. Listen
yeah.
to podcasts, find one you like, and then do one. Just get on and do a podcast live because it adds credibility and
Do one, be a guest on someone else's podcast.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
And
on
there's
someone else's
services, there are services that are podcast host finders, that out there that you can look for. But otherwise, if you know somebody that's running one, what are ones that you like that are health related, and contact them. They're like they said, they're always looking for guests. Imagine if you had your own podcast, would you be looking for guests all the time? Yes, you would.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
where would
awesome.
you find that, Craig?
Oh, just Google podcast catcher or a podcast recruiting podcast. I would just search for something like, I want to be a guest on a podcast,
Oh,
and then see what resources it gets you to. By the way, I have this number here. The lady, my wife and I went to the dental appointment on Friday, and I'm just being pleasant and friendly but the lady at the receptionist was awesome. And I was documenting how awesome she was. I was telling her, why do you do this? You're great with people. And she was great with people and all this stuff. And then she tells me how she volunteered at some wheelchair camp thing for old people. And I said, well, I run a wheelchair camp. I said, Alina, her name's Alina. I said, Alina, I would love to continue this conversation, but they want to go clean my teeth. Can I get your phone number and we can follow up? And when I left, she handed me this.
Nice.
And so think of it. I'm at the dentist office, but she stood out. The other lady was kind of a dull person, but Alina wasn't dull. She was fantastic. Where's it going to go? I
Coach
don't know.
potential.
We're going to have a fun conversation. I said, I love training people to be wellness coaches and to make a difference in people's lives. And you already have all these people skills. How did you learn those? And she starts trying to figure out how she became so awesome. When you have a server at a restaurant or anybody that you're working with, if they're awesome, tell them they're awesome. Are you a talent scout? Are they talent? Yeah. All right. Who's next? We got 7 minutes. Make it quick.
I'll go.
Okay.
My goal was to contact 5 people 3 working days. So I did get in 10 contacts. So I got 2/3 of what I wanted.
You said you wanted to do
monthly.
5 or no? Oh, 10 per day. 3 days.
5, 3 days.
5 on 3 days. Got it.
Yeah. The other days I'm working on it's not really, actually the other days I have a lot of contacts. It's through the church and nothing on their health comes up, but I have a lot of contacts.
So strategy for you, Bruce, is find and explore, find, create, develop a way to talk about wellness in some way with people. And it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out how you can weave it into the conversation somehow.
Yeah.
If we're doing a wellness challenge, which we will be in September, well, you can invite them to that. Find a way to invite them to something that's positive and uplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
So anyway,
all right.
But my goal this week is basically the same thing.
So you want to get 15 in the next 7 days.
Yep.
15 contacts in the next 7 days. Fantastic. Good. Maureen.
Okay. Yeah. Just real quickly. My goal was to contact my inactives to let them know about the promotion. And I got through about half of them, maybe, well, I say half of them. I got through to maybe between 4 to 6 not yets. And primarily my goal was just to see what they're doing, if it's working, right? And then just continue the conversation and also build the relationship. I did get distracted because I think you mentioned, somehow I heard, ask your clients for current referrals, which I know you're supposed to do anyway, but I needed to hear that.
The term I use is introductions. Yeah.
Introductions. Okay. Yes, introductions. I like that. So anyway, that was actually kind of fun because I did have a few of my clients refer a few people. And so that was fun. And I also started getting a little bit more bold about post your gratitude on Facebook. And I said that to 3 of my clients. They haven't done it, but I did ask them to. And especially when they're having these wins, I like it's so powerful. So I just need to continue to ask them to do that.
Well,
And
what I say to my clients is, it's like, Maureen, I love doing what I'm doing. Can you imagine how much I love working with you and working with other people that are winning? And they're going to be, oh yeah, I bet, and so I love doing it so much, but I only can meet so many people. And you're the one that's killing it. You just told me all the things you're grateful for. Can you introduce us to somebody that would like to be winning like you are? Because I love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And just make the introduction, and I'll give them the encouragement that I'm giving you, rather than a referral feels more businessy. Well, how have I know it? Just make an introduction, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, no, I like that. Excellent. Well, and I know that we talked about the urgency. The promotion is going to be ending very soon, very soon. And so there's not a lot of time. So that's kind of my focus is I want, people to be able to benefit from the additional fuelings or with additional aminos, whatever, works for them. It's such a great offer. So anyway, that's my goal. And I'm also going to do at least one Facebook Live before we meet next.
Yeah. Okay. Make sure so write that down. You just said some very specific things. Write that down and put it in the group. Perfect. All right. Who's Melissa, I believe? I want to get John.
I met with the lady who is the PT lady that I was kind of talking about last week. We came up with some really great ideas and plans. Her and I are going to partner together. She actually has a separate business of her own with some women's health stuff. And her and I are going to partner together and do an event at our house. And then to incorporate her women's health and then also my coaching. And then also she's going to introduce me to her boss for the PT clinic. And we haven't chatted yet, but I know that she's very busy and I'm honoring that time. So I wanted to continue to work with Stephanie, who is the PT lady who has her own business as well. So that was really exciting. And then my goal for this week is to meet 3 people in person for coffee or something. And I already have 1 booked. I just need to get 2 more booked for this week.
I love your goal. They're so clear. And they sound fun. Like, ooh, coffee with 3 people. That sounds fun, right? Great job. And I love that you're doing the one-on-one. I call it sharpshooting and farming. So you're sharpshooting with the coffee and farming with the PT practice. By the way, take note, everybody. Great strategy. PT is going to take a while, just like farming. If you're starving today, don't plant a garden. You will die of starvation before you get anything out of the ground. You got to get your rifle out and go get some meat. But you want both, right? It's super good. Jonathan, I don't know if you had goals for the week, but if you had some, or if not, let's get you some.
Yeah, no, actually, Barb triggered something for me. I don't know if you're still there, Barb. That as far as goals go, and small win, had some people to the house on Friday. That's sort of the culmination / the beginning of something kind of along the lines of the PT thing that Melissa's doing. So it's sort of farming, long distance, but I'm super excited about it. It went really well. So as far as Barb, you're talking about calling people, and I'm slowly having aha moments around that. And this is a good opportunity for me to make it a solid goal. So I'm going to be with you this week. I'm going to at least match you, but I'm also a competitive type of person. So I propose that we have a little competition, you and I, to see how many people we can call.
I love
And
this so much.
Yeah,
my
we're doing it.
my hangups are similar to yours. I get so in my head about it, and I've recently had some really pleasant conversations with people that I had a reason for calling them, but it was kind of a non reason. It was just a little bit, for the most part, just to connect. And I know that that's the point of calling people, it's just making
Right.
that connection. And I'll go, even with close friends of mine, I'll go years with not talking to them. And I don't know if it's a guy girl thing, but like us guys, I would not call, like even Craig. Like if Craig and I don't have an excuse to call each other, we probably won't. And so like I'm getting better at like calling my mom, calling Craig, calling, just, hey, I've got 5 minutes. So I figured I'd give you a shout and see what's going on with you.
Right.
So anyway, I'm going to say at least 10 people this week, but my goal is to just consistently make phone calls to people that I don't have a reason to call. And I'll add this because I think it's helpful. It's a trick I learned a long time ago, and I didn't really learn it, is sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and just write the names that come to your mind and create that list, and then walk away from it, come back to it and start over again. And you'll have 200 people before you know it, of like, oh, these are people that I want to connect with.
So here's a suggestion, Barb. Every time you make a call, put it in the chat. And John, every time you make a call, put it in the chat, and we'll all get
We're going to be
watch this
blowing it
battle.
up. Everybody's going to be
You go,
ticked off.
people. And if
They're going to say, quit
if
doing
someone else
that.
wants to play, Bruce, if you want to play, get in there and just boom and keep your tally going. Ooh, this is so great. Okay, you guys. God bless you all. We'll see you tonight.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.